Do you have a great name for your business or maybe your products or your services? Are you spending a load of time and effort and energy spreading the word about your business and getting your name known and out there and developing a reputation? If so, this video is for you, because in it I'm going to be sharing some great tips about how to start protecting your name, including some things you can do straight away that won't cost you anything at all, but will improve your position enormously. So we're going to start with just a quick look at some of the things to bear in mind when you're picking and choosing a name, because that's one of the things we get really excited about at the start of a business, and I want to make sure you're doing that in the right way. Then we're going to look at something you can do straight away that is going to give you a huge amount of protection. It won't take you long and it's going to cost you nothing at all. And then we're going to have an initial look at trademarks and how you go about registering a trademark. Now, this is a topic I really like to talk about because I know how attached you all get, and I'm the same, to the names that we choose for our business. Like when we first come up with a business idea, so often the next thing we do is we think about what are we going to call it, and we're brainstorming ideas, and it's amazing how quickly we get attached to those names. It becomes a real emotional attachment. And what I want to say to you is, when you're in those initial stages of thinking about a name, just do a little bit of due diligence, a little bit of research at the same time to double check that someone else isn't already using that name or a really similar name for the same sorts of products and services. You can save yourself a huge amount of heartache by just getting a little bit of clarity on that. So the things that you should do when you're thinking about a name is you should have a look on a company's house. So look at the company's house website and look for the .gov.uk URL, okay? So you're going straight to the government website. So have a look and see if anyone's set up a limited company using that name. Then also do a search of the trademarks register. Now this is all completely free, very, very easy to do yourself. So go to the ipo.gov.uk, that's the Intellectual Property Office. Go to that website and you can search on trademarks there, and you can see if anyone has registered the name that you're looking at using or something similar. So get a feel for if there are any trademarks registered, and then also just do a good old Google search. Just see what's going on with the name and what's out there. And do this right at the start, because you become so attached to a name very quickly. It can feel devastating, kind of disproportionately devastating, if you get a couple of months down the line and then discover that someone else is using the name. So do the research right from the get-go. Now, if you find that someone is doing something similar with the same or a similar name, it doesn't 100% have to be the end of the road for that name, but you are going to be taking a risk or potentially incurring costs if you carry on using it. So the kind of easiest, most hassle-free path, which is what we're always looking for, right, in business, the easiest, most hassle-free path is to choose a name that isn't already being used by someone else. So the next thing that I want to mention is, even if you're not operating through a limited company yet, or you're not sure when you're going to be doing that, do consider registering a limited company, setting up and incorporating is the legal word for it, a limited company with the name that you are going to use. Because as we've just seen, when people are coming up with names and thinking about names, one of the first things they'll do is to do a search on Companies House. So if you've got the limited company name, even if you set it up but keep it dormant, then that's going to be showing people that someone is using this name, someone has an interest in the name. It's a public register. So and people will often do that kind of search and not get round to doing the trademark search. So it's quite good if you come up for a search on Companies House for that name. If you're not going to use it, you'd need to keep it dormant, and there are some costs associated with that, but they're not a huge amount of cost, and it's not very expensive to set up in the first place. So it is definitely something worth considering. And then we're going to move on to a tip, which is one of my absolute favorites. So that is to recognize and start claiming the rights that you have attached to the name already, because it will be an unregistered trademark. If you are using a name and you are building up goodwill in that name because you are providing services, building up a reputation, marketing, using that name, then you have what is called an unregistered trademark. So many people don't even know about that. And the sign for an unregistered trademark is the TM. Again, lots of people get really confused. They think TM means registered trademark. In fact, it means an unregistered trademark. So my big tip for you straight away, like today, is if you've got a name that you're using, that you're building goodwill up in it because you're providing services and you're marketing in relation to it, then start using those little letters TM next to it where you use it. And that's just going to show people that you are asserting rights in relation to that name, you're using that name, and it's going to show that you're on top of your game as well, right? So that's going to put people off from trying to use that name as well. They may even think that it means a registered trademark, and that's not your problem, right? So start using the letters TM and asserting the rights to your unregistered trademark straight away. And then we come to the idea of getting your trademark registered. Okay, so your trademark can be registered, and that is just a much more robust, substantial type of protection. The unregistered trademark is definitely helpful, and it's a great tip for you to put in place straight away, but having a registered trademark really is much, much better protection. Now, remember that this is also an asset of your business, and I think for the cost that it involves in the UK to register your trademark, honestly, it's a bargain. So at the time that I'm making this video, I recommend something called a Right Start application. And at the time I'm making this video, that's currently £200 for a Right Start application. What I love about that type of application is you fill in an online form. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. You might need a little bit of hand holding. That's something I do with my clients all the time, hold their hands when they do an application. We also have a done for you service as well, but it's not that difficult. You're entirely capable of doing it, I assure you. So you do a Right Start application, you fill in the online form, and you pay £100 up front, and then you submit the form electronically. And what the trademark office does, you get assigned a trademark officer, and they will look at your application and they will come back to you pretty quickly, actually, usually in under 2 weeks. They will come back and let you know if there are any potential issues that they can see, and whether or not they think there's anyone else who's got a similar trademark on the register, and they might need to, and they're going to get in touch and let them know. By the way, if that's the case, don't panic. It really isn't the end of the world. I'm going to talk about that in another video. So that's what will happen. You'll get the report back from the IPO where they'll let you know if there are any issues, and at that point you can decide if you're going to go on with the trademark application or not, and at that point you pay the next £100. So as I mentioned, at the moment it's £200 to register a trademark in the UK using the Right Start application, and that includes registering your name against one class of goods or services. It may be that you need to do more than one. Again, I'll talk about that in the next video, and if so, each additional class is an extra £50. So So that's some of the basics about what you need to do if you are going to register your trademark. But if you're planning on doing anything with your business in the future that might involve selling the whole business or a part of your business, or licensing other people to use your name, or creating a certification, for example, then getting that trademark done is a really important part of the process. So as soon as you can, do register for your trademark, and it's going to give you the best possible protection, put you in the best possible place to protect that name. So there we go, those are the things I wanted to share with you in this video. Firstly, make sure you do a bit of research before you get too attached to a particular name. Next, start using the TM straight away and let everyone know that you've got an unregistered trademark. And third, as soon as you can, get on and register your trademark. See you soon.